But our top focus on the Game of Thrones is the India Today Access opinion poll on the big state of Uttar Pradesh, where elections have been announced. 7-phase poll is to start from the 11th of February to the 8th of March. Remember, 403 seats on offer, and today we are bringing you the final numbers of this round of pre-polling in Uttar Pradesh. Tomorrow we will give you the numbers of Punjab, which also goes to the polls next month, Uttarakhand, which also goes to the polls, and Goa with 40 seats. So much ahead tomorrow, but today our focus is on that critical state of Uttar Pradesh. Why is UP important? Remember, Uttar Pradesh important for a variety of reasons, but let me tell you some of those key reasons why UP is important in this round. India's most populous state, 80 MPs. The BJP has 73 of them. So much at stake for the Prime Minister in this round. It's BJP's biggest gain in 2014 was in UP. Also, it's the first state, big state, going to the polls after the surgical strikes and the demonetization plans of the Prime Minister. The other reason, of course, is that it is a do-or-die battle for Mayawati and BSP. Out of power for the last 5 years, she needs to win this time to get back her national image. Results will determine also the fate of the Samajwadi Party internal war between Akhilesh and Mulayam Singh. And the Congress needs to do something at least in UP. It is supposedly Rahul Gandhi's Karma Bhumi. That's not all. Let me give you the methodology now of our survey. Our survey was conducted between the 14th of December and the 24th of December. So it's been conducted post-demonetization, but before the war in Samajwadi Party broke out. Total sample size was 22,231. The post-poll originally had been conducted, remember, from 5th September to 5th October was the first round. We now have the second round, which was conducted from the 15th of December to the 25th of December. So 15th of December to the 25th of December. What are our vote share projections? Let's go straight to tell you right at the very top what we are predicting. This is the big number we are coming with. We are saying if elections are held today, the BJP has 33% of the vote, the BSP has 26% of the vote, the Samajwadi Party 26%, so neck to neck, Congress 6, others 9. But it is the BJP, as per the India Today Access poll, which has the clear edge. 33% of the vote share, according to the India Today Access poll, is going to the BJP. How is this all translating into seats? These are the big numbers. Remember, 403 seats on offer, 202 is the halfway mark. And the dramatic number, we believe the BJP is set to get a majority in UP. 206 to 216. The BSP 79 to 85. The Samajwadi Party in second place 92 to 97. Congress 5 to 9 and others 7 to 11. But it's the BJP 206 to 216. This is the BJP back to its heydays in the early 90s under Kalyan Singh in Uttar Pradesh. The last time they got a majority was 25 years ago. We believe, as per the India Today Access poll, if elections are held today, remember, before the Samajwadi Party fight, the BJP has the clear edge. Let's go straight to our panel. Joining me now is Professor Vivek Kumar of JNU, someone who's been closely associated with the BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party. Surjit Bhalla, political analyst, but someone who also wears several hats, particularly post-demonetization, among the few economists whom the Prime Minister has been consulting. Also joining me is Sharat Pradhan, senior journalist and someone who has tracked Uttar Pradesh for a period longer than any other journalist that I know of, someone who knows Lucknow inside out. Ashok Malik, senior journalist, also joining me at this moment. And Manisha Priyam, who's also part of our election panel and political analyst who tracks politics in states across the country, also joining us. Thank you all very much for joining us. The big numbers that are coming on the screen at the moment. Surjit Bhalla, are they leaving you surprised? 206 to 216. Our first tracker had given the BJP 170 to 180. They're now actually going over a majority post-demonetization.
No, I think that's the critical story. So it is a surprise. One had thought that basically it would be a more even three-way fight. But whichever way it turns out, let's just recognize that this poll, or this election rather, in the various states, and particularly in the UP, is much more than a normal state election. because of demonetization. I think this will be the first. We've had several by-polls, several municipal polls, etc., where the BJP has done rather well. So this one, though, is the big one. And as you know, we've been discussing for the last 3 months, 2.5 months, about the impact of demonetization, whether it's a good move or a bad move. It's a much discussed topic. This one will try and put what the people feel.
Are you saying, therefore, that if these are the numbers, it's a positive referendum in favor of demonetization?
And
are you going to say that this election is being fought on that issue and not on local issues if these numbers hold?
I would say exactly this and the opposite. Let us say these numbers don't hold. Let's say the BJP does badly. This is, after all, an opinion poll. I will then say that demonetization is politically unpopular and the people have spoken on it. So I think, you know, it depends on the degree of victory, it depends on the degree of defeat. But absolutely no question, this is a referendum on demonetization. Let's just recognize
It's a referendum on demonetization. Are you surprised, Sharad Pradhan, with those numbers? Traditionally, we've seen in UP, barring the last two polls of 2007 and 2012, 2007 clear majority for Mayawati, 2012 clear majority for Samajwadi. Yeah. The general impression was UP was in a period of fractured politics. But now, is it the BJP's turn to get the majority? Are you surprised with these numbers?
I am not surprised, because this is not only post-demonetization, it is also as a consequence of the war within the Yadav family and the self-goals that they have been hitting one after another. And so,
because this poll, let me tell you again and to our viewers, has been done before the fight broke out between the Yadavs openly. So if anything, you know, if the Samajwadi party was to split, that means the opposition would be even more fragmented. Are you surprised that this poll is, are you saying this is a consequence of a fractured opposition that the BJP is benefiting on, or do you see a positive vote for the BJP?
This is a positive vote for the BJP, but at the same time, you cannot forget that the war in the family began 2 months back. That was round one. The fact that there was a rapprochement for a short while, then they had a second round of the war, and then now how many rounds one has lost count. But so I'm sure the survey must have had the impact, must be
okay, so you're not surprised with the numbers. Ashok Malik, are you surprised with the numbers? Even the BJP's, I mean, some of its strategists, when I shared these numbers with them about half an hour ago, were surprised. I think they expect this to be a tough fight in Uttar Pradesh. At the moment, they seem to be pulling ahead.
I think my expectation was a three-way fight. What used to be a two-way fight, as you said, for 1 decade between the SP and the BSP, has become a three-way fight with the BJP coming into the mix. I expected the BJP to be out there in the running, in the reckoning rather. But a majority of this nature has frankly surprised me. But if the numbers are correct, then the BJP has a 7% vote percentage advantage over the BSP and the SP. And 7% in a three-way fight is huge.
And you know, I should point out also that, remember, in the Lok Sabha election, the BJP had 40% vote plus. BJP plus the Apna Dal was 40% plus. But the real gain that the BJP is making is in comparison to 2012, when the last assembly elections were held, when the Samajwadi party with 29% of the vote got a majority. So at 33%, the BJP is well poised in a three-cornered race to actually get a majority if our numbers hold. Professor Vivek Kumar, are you surprised that Mayawati, traditionally underestimated in most polls, is again being underestimated, some would say, in this poll? Is she the X factor who perhaps is never given due during such polls?
I think actually that's correct what you say, that because they are never evaluated in full strength. And you know, having researched a little bit more on BSP, I can tell you that BSP has undergone sea change, and which is not visible to common man's eyes, and even the people.
What's the change? Many believe that Mayawati in fact has peaked and plateaued, that she's not the Mayawati of 10 years ago.
Okay, I think you know, once after 2014, the first policy they actually injected was 50% of the composition of the whole party was of youths. And this youth cuts across the caste as well as religion line. And I'm talking about specifically with Muslim youths. Muslim youths joining from top to bottom, from education centers, from law background, even from Aligarh Muslim universities, Darul Uloom, and as well as
It's
Nadratul.
interesting you're saying youth,
So
youth
these-
and Muslim,
and second-
because Mayawati has already gone off the mark and said that more than 100 seats out of 403 she's giving Muslims. 115 could well be the final number.
The
104 they were- I think they
third
were
thing
good.
which people are not understanding, BSP loses in perception war. But what happened that their actually followers are not at all perturbed because they have social media in their hand. And today they rely, one of the rallies of Mayawati, which was in Muzaffar, I think Nagar, was treating world #1 in Twitter. And this was reported for many hours. So
I'm interested to see that Mayawati is trending on Twitter as #1 as a sign of change. But let me get Manisha Priyam also for first comments on that. Manisha Priyam, do these numbers surprise you, or are we seeing possibly, like in 2014, the absence of a visible option to the BJP or the fragmentation of the opposition perhaps benefiting the BJP? Because the opposition is so fragmented, the BJP at 33% is clearly in pole position.
Yeah, BJP is certainly in pole position, and that's a surprise by itself. But what I would say is that, the other two contenders could never have been a united opposition. Remember, you cannot expect a Mulayam and a Mayawati coming together to fight a BJP. That would be like conceding to the BJP anyways. So I think with these numbers that we have, these are not final in any way, but they do indicate that the voters, the electorate in Uttar Pradesh will understand that the BJP is in the reckoning. So out of the vote share that is there today marked for the SP and for the BSP under ban Mayawati, one would see that in over a month and a half long electioneering, there is likely to be a great amount of consolidation. And then whether the figures remain the way they are presented today, that's something that I'm not very sure of. The arithmetic could change dramatically if there are shifts that happen between the SP and the BSP. Remember, some of the BSP's vote bank could shift towards the BJP. If that happens, it's advantage BJP. If some of the vote bank from here, namely the Muslims, consolidate towards the SP and not the BSP, it could be the other way around. However, if all consolidate towards the BSP, then you could see a lot of change happening there. But I would at this point of time say that the BJP's got its craft on the ground quite right if they are coming up with these numbers, and some of the poorer Brahmins on the field today are really the foot soldiers of the demonetization policy. You get off any second-class compartment in the train, you will find there are local intellectuals, self-styled intellectuals who are singing the raga of the demonetization policy. So in a sense, the large band of unemployed youth in Uttar Pradesh today, the world's largest numbers of the young ones who are unemployed happen to be concentrated in this state alone. So in a sense, this electioneering is going to throw up a lot of surprises. This number that you present today may be the first of those surprises, but the electioneering itself cannot be written off.
Let's wait. Nobody is writing anyone off at this stage. This is a pre-poll survey, and in pre-poll surveys in particular, we should put as many riders as possible. That much can change between now and the 8th of March. But let me turn to one other factor. Because in elections, and we've traditionally seen increasingly elections even at state levels becoming presidential in nature, who should be the next UP Chief Minister was a question that was also asked. And this is what our survey interestingly is showing. The other big finding, Akhilesh Yadav is supported by 33%. 33% said Akhilesh Yadav is our preferred choice. Mayawati 25%, Rajnath Singh was 20%, Yogi Adityanath of the BJP, the Gorakhpur MP 18%, Priyanka Gandhi 1%, Mulayam Singh 1%, Varun Gandhi 1%. I'm bringing these numbers into some context because the BJP has made it very clear that they will not have a chief ministerial candidate. Ashok Malik, reconcile those two. The fact is that purely in terms of arithmetic, the BJP seems to have the advantage, but in terms of personalities, the BJP seems to be losing out to Akhilesh. Will Akhilesh get that advantage like a Nitish Kumar got in Bihar? Because elections at the end could also be, who do you want as your chief minister?
2 points I'd like to make. One, if you look at Mayawati, she gets 25%
Yes.
a rating, and the BSP gets 26% of the vote.
Yes.
So Mayawati and the BSP are virtually at the same level. Akhilesh outpolls his party by 7%. So obviously he's much more popular than his party, and that is coming out in various news reports and assessments. However, what Akhilesh seems to lack at the moment is the entire party being behind him, especially his uncles and various, the party managers being behind him, the party cadre may be behind him. But there's one other factor I'd like to bring in. UP is the cauldron of caste politics and community politics and caste coalitions. In the last two elections, the BSP and the BJP and the SP won majorities by getting their core votes, Dalits and Muslim Yadavs, but they got an incremental vote which put them over the halfway mark, which was an urban, some middle class, some upper caste, some Brahmin vote in both cases, which was basically a BJP vote which went to other parties because the BJP wasn't in the reckoning. This time the BJP is seen in the reckoning.
What is the BJP's core vote though? Where is the BJP's core vote? Let's be clear. This is a party which, barring that 2014 election, has steadily declined in UP. What is the core vote of the BJP?
But remember, UP is much more urban than Bihar, for instance. So there is a BJP core vote in the small towns.
Also, the upper castes are much larger, possibly, and more influential in UP than they are in Bihar.
The non-Yadav OBCs.
The non-Yadav OBCs. So you believe that the BJP has worked towards a particular strategy at the moment. But Akhilesh Yadav, is he the man that we are underestimating at the moment? Yes, he's just gone through a very difficult relationship at the very least with his father, but he seems to be coming out triumphant, and maybe UP wants a local strongman. Who does the BJP have to contend with an Akhilesh Yadav? Could he go and make this a presidential election in the next 5 weeks and turn it around, possibly even by aligning with the Congress and the Rashtriya Lok Dal?
Well, UP is unlike Bihar, where there were two major players, Nitish and Lalu, in an alliance. If it were Mayawati and Mulayam, or let's say BSP and SP, then things could have been compared to Bihar. As of now, Akhilesh does have a lot of credibility, more than anybody else. But this turmoil in the family has made him lose a lot of support. Because now they are
But he's winning. But he's winning the internal battle. Yeah, if he wins the internal battle, does he come across as a strong, youthful, muscular leader?
He does. But it is a little late in that way for two reasons.
One year ago.
One, the election symbol, which the election commission may freeze.
What if the two sides come together on Friday? What if Mulayam Singh Yadav accepts Akhilesh's leadership, which is the buzz at the moment in Lucknow?
Then Akhilesh, that is a big question. If that happens, yes, Akhilesh would be a strong contender. And Akhilesh would be able to consolidate, and because Muslim vote is very crucial in this election for all parties, and particularly for the Samajwadi Party. If Muslim vote is retained by the Samajwadi Party, it will make.
I want to tell our viewers, as per our survey, since you are repeatedly raising the Muslim vote, the BJP gets 3% of the Muslim vote, the BSP gets 14%. The Samajwadi Party gets 71%. So even with these numbers, the Samajwadi Party is still dominating the Muslim vote, but it is the other caste, the OBCs in particular, and the upper caste, as per our survey, who are coming strongly towards the BJP. That's where the BJP is gaining. The BJP is scoring among upper caste 61% of the vote versus BSP 11% and SP 9%. Among OBCs, the BJP is getting 53% as BSP 15 and Samajwadi Party 13%. Even among Yadavs, where the Samajwadi Party dominates 72%, the BJP gets 14%, BSP 4%. The BSP gets the majority of the Dalit vote, 68%, the BJP getting 15%. But it is the OBCs, particularly the non-Yadav OBCs, where the BJP is making its breakthrough. But the fact that they don't have a chief ministerial candidate, you believe it makes no difference that Narendra Modi can go to UP and say, please vote for me, this vote is for a central and state government of the same party?
Rajdeep, we've been discussing this for the last 3-4 years. We are moving increasingly, and maybe we've moved to a presidential type election where, if you will, local candidates, local issues are not very important. And I think this is a trend that has happened. If you will, it's increasing in importance and will continue being so. On the caste thing, if you want to use the caste analogy or the theory, what you have is that the Mayawati has got a lock on the Dalit votes. Samajwadi Party has got a lock on the Muslim votes. Now, just take the math. Simple math is, and Yadav which are small sector, maybe not that small, 10% of the 50% or so that are Yadavs, that are OBCs. You know, the pure math comes out in favor of BJP. So I don't want to go through that route because I don't think it matters. I know that Manisha will say that it does matter, and maybe caste is gone. And has been gone for a long time. So let's appreciate. And I think national issues, given the way, we were just mentioning about Twitter, given the way the media is operating around the world, to think that a local issue will dominate when everybody is on national issues. Twitter is national. Twitter is not, if you will, confined to a local area. So I think that is an indication that the whole story has changed and we better recognize it.
Well, how the story could have changed? Let me give you a number. I know Vivek Kumar is shaking his head. We asked what is the biggest issue in the Uttar Pradesh elections? What is the biggest issue in the Uttar Pradesh elections? 45% have said development. 45% said vikas or development, however you want to put it, and we can break down what actually constitutes development in a moment. 18% said roads, electricity, water. Employment was 15%. Add these numbers and 78% of Uttar Pradesh is looking at these core issues. There is no mention here of Mandir. There is no mention of Mandal, the issues that dominated UP in terms of caste identity, community identity in the manner they did in the 90s. So maybe Surjit has a point. Maybe UP is changing. Are you willing to accept that? No. We have frozen mindsets that said that elections are fought on traditional issues. Maybe it's changing.
Rajdeep, let's not be so naive to understand that actually people will come out in open and say in an interview that caste and actually Mandir is going to be the issue. Everybody will be sounding progressive and they will say that these are the developmental issues. Everybody will say that. But just scratch a little bit and you will find what the reality is. And therefore, actually, let us put a rider on it. And I will just go back again.
Yes.
When you were talking about that, Akhilesh is becoming the tallest. I think if you have read a little bit, your own data, you are saying that the Game of Thrones, best leader to handle the law and order, and you are giving 48%. So if you just give a small, average to it, Mayawati is hands down scoring to 36%. And actually, Akhilesh is way behind. I'm just giving you a simple arithmetic, which you can do it because any chief minister who is not actually, as you yourself said, that somebody local, strong man or woman, UP wants that, and I think she fits the bill, and therefore she is much ahead.
There will be those who will say yes, she is, and our survey says best leader to handle law and order, Mayawati 48%, Akhilesh Yadav 28%, Rajnath Singh 23%, Mulayam Singh 1%. Well taken. But the question is, Mayawati has been tried and tested between 2007 and 12. Mulayam Singh and Akhilesh Yadav tried and tested. You believe that's a USP?
That's the USP.
Remember, she was voted out of power 5 years ago. The question is whether the politics has changed from 2014 to 16. Quick point from you, Manisha Priyam, and keep it short because 2014 it was Narendra Modi who won 73 out of 80 seats, but that was a Lok Sabha election.
Lost Bihar very badly.
Why will UP not go the Bihar way? The possibility does exist possibly. If Akhilesh today ties up with Congress and RLD, forms a Mahagathbandhan, why does he not become the Nitish Kumar of Bihar? Is the BJP in a sense counting on Modi a little bit too much to deliver UP?
Yeah, I think so. There is still the possibility of there coming a Bihar. And for those who think local issues do not matter, please look at the Kanpur rally of Sri Narendra Modi and you will find that there is a very carefully nuanced local strategy that the BJP is moving with, and that strategy has at its front the disaffected local youth of the upper caste, namely the Brahmins, that are fronting the platform. So the BJP is building up a caste group of the disadvantaged. It may be on lines that seem economic, but have shades and overplay of caste that you cannot deny. In a sense, if it wasn't so, then why would the Daya Shankar Singh and his wife fracas play out in public just before the demonetization announcement? I think that Rajput versus Dalit fracas that happened was the most important caste picture that played out in the UP political arena. So caste is not a gone. In fact, Bihar would be far ahead on those issues of turning from identity to interest. In UP, there's likely to be a very subtle play of the caste politics also. Don't yet underestimate that. And local issues are very, very important. They cannot simply be overridden. And I think these issues will bring the finer nuances of the 1.5-month election that we will see now.
I accept that this election could evolve over the next 5 or 6 weeks. But big Uttar Pradesh poll, the Game of Thrones, and really we've already thrown up a major surprise, some say, in the Axis APM India Today poll. We are predicting a BJP victory in Uttar Pradesh, where elections, remember, begin on the 11th of February and go on till the 8th of March. Counting is on the 11th of March. Those are the big numbers that are about to come back on your screen at the moment. 403 seats. We expect the BJP to end up between 206 to 216. So the BJP, as per the Axis APM poll, is above the halfway mark. That's the big number. Their vote share is 33%, which is 7% ahead of the next party, the BSP and the SP, both of which are locked in at 26%. So clearly at the moment we are saying advantage to the BJP in our pre-poll survey if elections are held today. The BSP 79 to 85, SP 92 to 97, Congress 5 to 9, others 7 to 11. Now, one of the questions that we posed in this survey, remember, taken in the month of December, is how did people in Uttar Pradesh view demonetization? And these are the figures. Good, 76%. 3 in every 4 said demonetization is a good step. Bad was 23%. That's less than 1 in every 4. Don't know was 1%. Are you facing a problem due to demonetization? We asked. Yes, 58% said yes. No was 42%. Impact of demonetization: eliminated black money and fake notes, said 51%. Inconvenience to Aam Aadmi, said 27%. Benefit for poor people, said 18%. Will have no impact, was 3%. Just a symbolic move, was 1%. Surjit Bhalla is smiling as one of the men who's been backing the Prime Minister's demonetization move. Yeah. Is this about the intentions more than the actual result? People are admitting that they are facing inconvenience. At the same time, 76% are saying it's a good move. Is it that the Prime Minister has just sold the message better than the opposition has sold its message?
No, I think that, I don't believe that.
Look, it's good marketing.
No, it cannot be good marketing. If it was only good marketing, then a lot of us would be Prime Ministers. No, look, we have to be, what had happened on November 8th, and as I've said before, I am an economist, and I don't think there's any economist who would have approved of demonetization ex ante. Why? Because very little is known. We don't have examples from history, from other countries' histories, as to what the effects could be. So therefore, this is to recognize, what I'm emphasizing, recognize that this is a game changer in economics, in our thinking, in our politics.
Is it creating a class war? There is some evidence here that the poor are turning towards Mr. Modi. He's reversing the pyramid where some of his traditional voters in urban UP may not be supporting him, the poor are.
I'll answer that in a minute. What I think has appealed to the people politically, not the economists, is that this is a decisive move. That is, somebody out there is making decisions, which we've seen for a long, long time. Hasn't happened since 93, 94. After the
So you think it's the decisiveness of the move which is attractive politically to the voter?
But yes, but at the same time, a lot of people can be decisive and are not popular. So there's got to be something else. One, a person is willing to tackle something that we've all recognized, everybody's recognized, is a major, major problem in India. And that's corruption. Remember, the Delhi Chief Minister rode to fame and fortune as Delhi's Chief Minister because he said there's corruption in India. Well, I'd like to ask, what has he done about corruption in Delhi? And at the same point, the same voter is now looking at somebody who's really willing to tackle the problem. Whether he succeeds or not, we don't know. But politically, since we are talking about politically, it is seen as somebody taking a major step to tackle
or major
corruption.
risk.
Major risk.
If these numbers are right, it seems Mr. Modi is being rewarded by the voter in UP for taking a risk. Now that could be one explanation. The other could be that the opposition has been tried and tested, Mayawati, Mulayam, and neither of them have really given wholesome governance to UP. Is it a negative vote or a positive vote for demonetization?
See, it's a bit of both, because as our previous survey suggested, the BJP had an advantage anyway.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a post-demonetization bump. Now, I think demonetization is a referendum on your belief in Modi. Obviously, just one demonetization will not clean up the economy, will not end corruption. It's going to be the first in the series of steps over a number of years perhaps. But the question is, do you believe this is a gimmick, or do you believe Modi has a plan, and do you believe Modi intends well? Modi's adversaries believe this is a gimmick, a one-off. The average voter seems to suggest that he believes in Modi. He believes Modi has a plan. He believes Modi still has a good agenda ahead of him. So he believed in Modi in 2014. These numbers would suggest that the UP voter still broadly retains faith in Modi. Whether that faith is justified or not is another matter. We can debate that separately. But he retains his faith in Modi and therefore is willing to give his party a chance.
But the question is, the local level BJP, most believe is a decrepit organization. They don't have leaders, local level leaders. They don't have enough 403 strong MLAs. They are a party which in the last 15-20 years has actually gone a couple of steps behind. Eventually, when it comes to local factors, will the BJP be able to overcome the weakness of their local unit, Sharad? What's your sense?
Well, you know, Modi has risen far larger than BJP as of today. And the vote is coming, even in 2014, if you remember, I had said that the vote was coming in the name of Modi. And even if, as it stands today, in UP, they don't talk of voting for the BJP. They talk of Modi. And demonetization has certainly gone in his favor because of the economic divide that has forged between the haves and have-nots. And mind you, have-nots are in far larger number than the haves. And you know, I have seen it happening on ground, talking to people standing in long queues when the problem was very acute. The currency crunch was there. And those, you know, there was a sharp difference in the reaction of people coming from different strata of economic strata. A well-to-do person, after standing in 15-20 minutes in the queue, would tell you that, oh, I've been standing here the whole day. And a poor man standing there for 3 hours would say, you ask him, isn't it very, aren't you tired of, yes, I've been here for a long time, but Modi ne acha kaam kiya hai. Now you haven't asked him whether Modi has done acha or bura, but he tells you, 8 out of 10 people would tell you,
so people believe Modi is well-intentioned, without not quite knowing what actual impact it's having, and that can overcome the fact that the local units of the BJP are not strong enough. Because Mayawati has a much stronger local organization. The Samajwadi Party has a stronger local organization.
There's one more thing, Rajdeep.
Yes.
There's one more thing. That poor man gets some kind of vicarious pleasure out of seeing the affluent man getting...
So you don't see a rural-urban divide emerging in UP. You believe in rural areas also demonetization is having a positive impact among the poorer voters of
the
UP.
poorer man is used to standing in queues. His life begins from queues.
I think I think Sharad ji is making things very simple. That's not the way. Actually, I have also done my research.
No, I have been to the ground.
I have also gone to the Kutiyas, I think, where you might not have the, and Chamrautis also. I have gone there and I have seen actually it is lull before the storm. And it is not necessarily that the support is going to be translated into votes. What is that actually one-to-one relationship that support for demonetization is necessarily getting translated into votes? People are keeping silent. And I have heard actually, sir, मेरे दूध बच्चे के जो दूध पीता बच्चा था उसके मुंह से दूध छीन लिया है. मेरे मरे हुए बाप को मट्टी नहीं मिली.
Why is it not reflecting in our poll?
It is not reflecting because people are still silent. They don't want to speak because they will be seen that they are siding the corruption and therefore they are not speaking. But let the day come, D-Day come, and I have also actually, tried to ask them, क्या करोगे? बोले सर हम गुस्से को पी गए हैं. We have drunk the anger and we will come out.
Let Ashok has been waiting. Yes.
You're talking about the BJP not being, I'd just like to shift the issue to the BJP's organization. The BJP lost in 2002, lost power in 2002. Between 2002 and 2014, it had a decrepit organization that had disappeared. In the past 2 years, Amit Shah has focused a lot on UP. I'm not suggesting the BJP organization is optimum or brilliant, but it is stronger today than it was in even 2014. Let's not forget that. So there is a slightly stronger.
Actually, but even then you are not able to come out 403 list. I think if it is stronger, then the list would have been out. Just like Mayawati has declared 403 seats, your seats would have been clear.
I'm not in
you
the
are
BJP.
still waiting.
I'm
Actually,
not yet in the
BJP is still waiting that there will be more people who are coming.
Just a minute.
So I think if the organization is strong, there should have been a leader. There should have been.
You see, in the
actually
BSP, one
faces.
person decides the list. In the BJP, it's
But let's be clear,
That
Ashok.
means you are waiting.
But just a minute. You know, we've seen in the past, particularly in pre-poll surveys, tend to exaggerate the BJP and the ruling party, whichever it
Correct.
is. In this
And
case,
the
the
BSP
Samajwadi
voter remains
and
silent.
the BSP voter remains silent.
I agree.
My point here is, do you see this becoming a three-cornered race? And in a three-cornered race, it's clearly advantage BJP. But if it becomes two-cornered, if there is some kind of polarization, then both the SP and the BSP, whichever emerge stronger, has a chance. Do you believe that the BJP has reason to worry in any way, or these demonetization numbers in particular should leave the Prime Minister confident? Because in Lucknow, he barely mentioned Notebandi.
Yeah, and
he only went once to it in the context of Indira Gandhi saying, "Wo kehte hain Modi hatao, main kehta hu corruption
See,
hatao."
I'll tell you what.
BJP.
Just let him.
No, I'm just one sentence.
Let him answer. I'll come to you.
There is only one arithmetic combination that can defeat the BJP.
Yes.
If there is a solid Muslim Dalit consolidation behind the BSP.
Absolutely.
And a complete sweep of Muslims away from the SP into the BSP camp, that can defeat it. The Rahul Gandhi, Jayant Chaudhary, Akhilesh alliance shouldn't bother the BJP, because frankly, what does the Congress bring to the table? 8% upper caste vote. What can it bring to the table?
If the Congress has 8%, RLD last time had about 3.5%, but it's concentrated in Western UP where it's over 20%.
Western UP.
If these three parties come together, I come back to it, then does this game change or not? Does the Game of Thrones change or not?
Akhilesh will be carrying Rahul Gandhi.
Akhilesh will be carrying Rahul Gandhi as the B team. I think I take that. I think that's well
I
taken.
fully agree with what he said.
Do you believe, Manisha Priyam, that the Congress in particular in this election is an absolute non-starter? Rahul Gandhi had this Kisan Yatra through the month of September, but somehow the momentum has completely dissipated to the point where the best the Congress can hope for is become the B team of Akhilesh Yadav.
Yes, that's true. That the best that the Congress can hope for is to become the B team of Akhilesh Yadav. But there's also a subscript that one has not noticed, and that subscript is that Shri Narendra Modi, as you said, is not referring to demonetization. That's because, you know, the demonetization, when he was referring to it, not only in Lucknow, he did refer to it in an earlier rally also, but it was taking him unnecessarily to talk about the Congress. So in a sense, Narendra Modi, you know, in one of the speeches he said कि computer किसने लाया, राजीव गांधी ने लाया, लेकिन मैं जब मोबाइल फोन को इस्तेमाल करने का बात करता हूं तो वो मेरी तरफ. So he's saying, in a sense, it's उलझावing him, you know, it's taking Narendra Modi's speech in a very woolly direction, and Rahul Gandhi is prominently, in a sense, poking Narendra Modi. So Rahul Gandhi could be a diversion to Narendra Modi's speeches, and Narendra Modi may invest too much energy in opposing the Congress party while he talks of demonetization in a state where the Congress does not matter. And I think that lesson has been learnt by whoever is the speech maker for the BJP and its top political leader.
Right.
Mr. Narendra Modi has put demonetization as a policy on the street.
But
He's got a caste cadre that is talking about that policy, but Narendra Modi will not talking about it because it diverts him towards talking about the Congress party, and Rahul Gandhi could play the trick of diverting Narendra Modi very effectively. Having said that, I concede that Rahul Gandhi's best chance is only as Akhilesh's B team.
You know, this whole demonetization question, the opposition believes that this is an X factor. That as particularly January, February, if the cash crunch doesn't reduce in some parts of UP, then they could use that issue. Do you believe, on the other hand, the BJP is wiser in talking about development in general terms rather than in specific terms of demonetization?
Well, let's take, you said the poll was done in mid-December. Now, by even the worst critics' analysis and views, it is the case that the cash crunch, if you will, is much less today than it was a month ago. So therefore, what are we trying to imagine? That listen, the cash crunch is going to get worse, or is it the case that listen, you've lost the battle? In terms of losing the battle, you know, as journalists and as analysts, we need to come up with something else besides, in the case of UP, the B team. I mean, the B team in most cases is something that can take on the A team. This thing is, you know, the Congress is not the B team of the Samajwadi Party. It is no team.
You don't liken this team of an Akhilesh Yadav, Rahul Gandhi, Jayant Chaudhary to a Nitish Kumar,
Absolutely
a Lalu
not.
Prasad,
The
and a
facts are
Rahul
just not
Gandhi in
there.
Bihar.
Listen.
You don't see this as a Mahagathbandhan of the same kind.
Look at your own polls. Look, the SP gets 26%.
Yes.
Now, if you had the SP, the BSP, and the Congress together, then you have a Mahagathbandhan. But any two of them, 26 and 6 adds up to 32. According to your own poll, BJP is 33. Then we've got to worry as to what the others will do. It just doesn't wash. You know, we can take one example of, and even in Bihar, it won't play again because Lalu and
I
Nitish
take
won't
your
be
point.
together. So, you know,
The other question, comparing say Nitish to Akhilesh. Nitish Kumar projected himself both in his first term very successfully and to some extent in the second term as a development icon. Akhilesh is trying to do the same. Has he been as successful with the various expressways now in place? He claims his dial 100 is starting to work. He claims that the midday meal scheme has been improved. He claims he's bringing power to parts which did not have power. Can he also claim that development plan like a Nitish Kumar did in Bihar?
Absolutely.
Or does he carry the baggage of his uncle, of law and order, of replacing police officers, of the fact that the thuggish image, the gunda image of the Samajwadi Party has not been erased?
And Nitish had a much better development record than Akhilesh.
You believe Nitish had a much better development?
Absolutely.
Okay,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
as of now, there's no, because of the trouble in the family,
Yes.
there's no doubt that Akhilesh has done a lot of work on development, which many past chief ministers never cared to do. And he has lots to his credit. There's no doubt about it.
Has that all come much too late? That for the first 3 years in particular, he was still under the influence of his uncles.
For first 4 years, that's what I said right in the beginning, that if he had done this a year ago, or more than a year back, then things would have been different. He would have had times at hand to convey to the people, and minus the trouble that the family has undergone. The parivar, the trouble in the Samajwadi Party is, Samajwad was lost long back with Amar Singh, and now the party is also faded away. So that's the tragedy. Their fight, the family war, they have been, that is what has relegated Akhilesh into the background.
Can Akhilesh though, the youth voter, demographics, let's look at it. Narendra Modi scored very heavily in 2014 among young UP voters, cutting across the caste divide. Even young Yadavs, our survey showed, voted for Mr. Modi and the BJP. Can Akhilesh get that young voter, particularly as the other side does not have a strong chief ministerial candidate?
I'd just like to say one thing here.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the Samajwadi Party is an expression of Yadav politics. Everything else is an increment. And Mulayam is the Charan Singh of Yadavs. He's an iconic leader. He's past his prime, I agree. But if Mulayam and opposes Akhilesh, or this separate, I can't see Yadavs voting for Akhilesh against Mulayam's wishes. It doesn't happen.
Who is that increment? I think we are talking in UP, and the key in UP in 2007, Vivek Kumar, when Mayawati got a majority, was that she managed to get the Brahmin vote to some extent on her side. In 2012, the Samajwadi Party was successful to some extent of not only consolidating Yadav Muslims, but also getting a large chunk of the backward caste and even an upper caste vote. In 2017, where is that incremental vote going to come for a Mayawati to topple the BJP? At 30%, whoever gets 30% wins UP. The BJP believes the incremental vote is coming from the non-Yadav backward castes in particular. Where is Mayawati or Akhilesh's incremental vote going to come from?
Actually, my study goes, as far as my study goes, I've seen actually the youth from the Muslims, they are having a bent towards PSP, and they think that it is too long that Mulayam Singh have made them fool, and they understand the hobnobbing of SP with BJP, understanding a little bit. The second thing is that actually we are ruling out that BSP has lost all its backward classes. The Bhaichara committees are still working, and I think we should give a little bit benefit of doubt that they are still, holding up and they are under the carpet, and they are mobilizing, and that's why maximum number of tickets are still to the most backward section or backward class.
So you believe that's the X factor of the BA. Let me turn to each of you to ask you, can these numbers change, Surjit, in your experience in the next 4 weeks? Or do you actually expect the BJP, as has often happened, that the party in front, the front runner actually goes even higher than we expect? What do you see?
But let me address the question that you asked earlier as to, and the big puzzle is, why did Akhilesh do so well in 2012 when he got 29% of the vote? And I think what was happening then, and this sheds a light on what I was saying earlier, that basically people were looking for an alternative to the Congress, and people were looking to an alternative to Rahul Gandhi. Here came, and I remember writing articles saying this was the great hope, etc., for a political leader at a national level. What happened to Akhilesh? He won then precisely because people saw him as a potential national leader, young voters that we were just talking about.
He was anointed by his father.
And then
he was anointed by his father.
Exactly. So therefore, what we all expected, I expected, let me just speak for myself, that he will try and forge a new path, and he didn't.
He's doing it now.
2 weeks ago.
He's doing it now. He's doing it just in time for the elections. Do you believe he's the only person who can challenge the BJP?
I think
in the next 5 weeks, in the next 5 weeks in UP, if anything is to change from these numbers, it will be the Samajwadi Party.
Yeah, but I don't think they come.
You don't think it's happening? You think these numbers are pretty solid?
I think so. And what you mentioned earlier, what generally happens is that a person is a leader in a three-way race. It really
usually moves ahead. Yes, 15 seconds.
The only thing that can defeat the BJP is if there's a solid Muslim Dalit alliance behind Mayawati. I think Akhilesh,
so you believe Mayawati, if anyone, has the better chance in a sense of
than Akhilesh,
then even an Akhilesh Yadav. Sharad Pradhan, do you see anything changing in the next 5 weeks?
I fully agree with Ashok, because Mayawati's party is the only one which has a very large base vote of Dalits. If it is 18-19%, what she needs as an incremental vote is barely 10. If she gets 70% of the Muslim vote, she takes the cake.
Okay, let's leave it there. We've just finished round 1 at the moment of our Game of Thrones on UP. We've heard from experts. We'll be going to the politicians when we return. The big numbers of Uttar Pradesh and what will they mean for national politics. If these numbers hold, is Narendra Modi building himself up towards becoming the supreme leader, not just here in Delhi, but also in Lucknow?